Jaako, from what the others tell me, you know almost everything up to this point. I should be the one to tell you the rest if you do not mind.
Of course. Come in, sit down. Company and story are always welcome.
Outland was a mess when we arrived, only saved by the strange warden Galen. When we noticed him suspiciously leaving the city, we followed him into the woods to find out why. There we saw him approach a huge green dragon, the one that attacked Outland before we arrived, along with its rider, an elf called Narenvain, who was wearing the mask of the dragon cult. Somehow, the dragon spotted us and almost killed us with its poison breath. We were able to run away to safety, but Auric was close to death. I am very thankful that Saros was able to heal him. Auric said that the cult was still watching us, so we headed to the divination pools. At the pool, we met its keeper, who told us it needs 4 people to make it work. The others started to use it, and as I watched, they became very tired. We were so distracted that we got ambushed by another party. They were led by a man called Hexen, Nia's older brother, who shot harpoons at her and chained her to the ground. He was unkind, calling me a symptom and Nia the disease. I did not have time to think what this meant. It drove Nia into a rage and she transformed into a dragon again. She burst through the temple walls and flew away, followed by the attackers who fled soon after. I was so angry that we had lost our friend and that the enemies got away, all except for one orc that was captured by the others. They questioned him before deciding to let him go, but I wouldn't let him leave. I hit him and kept hitting him. I wanted to kill him. A voice in my head told me to kill them all. The others stopped me in time before that happened. I do not know where this voice is coming from, and I do not like what it is telling me to do. When the anger went away, I joined the others at the pool again. My mind was clouded. The pool showed the memories that I had forgotten before I met Auric, what had happened after my last raid. My tribe raided a village, Nia's village. I did so many horrible things. I killed her brother, but it was the sword. The sword made me do it. It is the voices I have been hearing, telling me that I needed the sword if we wanted a chance of winning. I do like the strength that the sword gives me, but I am not sure I like who it is making me become. The pool showed us Nia through the jumble of memories. It showed her being held in a temple near the mountain, chained and tortured. Leaf received a message from Sips, who was watching the same temple. He had found Kinora there. We headed out to meet up with Sips again at this camp. I told Auric that I wished I did not remember the memories that we saw in the pool. He told me that we can choose to be better. I found that very comforting. But that feeling quickly disappeared because afterwards he experimented on Gladstone again, using that ooze he got from the spider people. It was horrifying. I do not care if the spider people like him or think he is a god. That ooze is very dangerous. I worry what he will do with it next. Leaf snuck into the temple and found Nia the next day. He freed her from the prison, but before they could leave, the Black Knight... No, actually, I think his name was Aaron, stopped them and alerted his allies. Kinora appeared with Narenvain, taking his mask and putting it on, which seemed to scare Sips a lot. She made these furry creatures that were with her attack us, but we killed them all easily. Aaron, however, was not an easy fight. Nia used her dragon breath to destroy his armor before she fell unconscious. The fight was difficult. We traded blows back and forth, sword to sword, until I got the upper hand and cut off his head. I had won, and killed him. I know he meant a lot to Nia, but he was a threat that needed to be put down. Sips confronted Kinora, who was using a jar filled with this strange smoke as a magical battery. Leaf tried to help by shooting and destroying it, but only made things even worse. The jar contained the Burning, the same demon that tore off Leaf's arm. Meanwhile, Saros charged directly at Narenvain, as if he was the only other enemy in the room, and Kinora continued to cast spells at Sips, making him see things that were not really there. Sips only got angrier and tried to rip the demon apart with Auric's help. However, his magic went out of control, causing all of it to get sucked out of him and explode in a big blast. We all watched as Kinora, Saros, Narenvain, and the burning disappeared in a ball of lightning as we were blinded by its light. When the dust settled, only Saros and Kinora were left alive. Auric said that they both used magic to protect themselves. The battle was coming to a quick end, or so we thought, until the green head of Tiamat arrived, summoned by Kinora using the mask. We all fought the dragon, while Sips continued to struggle against Kinora. Saros banished the dragon to a fiery place as Sips tore Kinora apart with his lightning magic. By battle's end, Sips had become more lizard-like, and not like himself. I think he was concerned the same thing could happen to Leaf. But in the end, with his companion's niece, he was able to get back home. I hope wherever they are safe and okay.
Ah, there you are, Sloane. I would like to require your assistance immediately with some of my research. Oh, Jaako. How long have you been there?
Hello, Auric. Seems you fought a dragon and Sips is now gone. How are you?
I'm well enough. Though dragons aside, there have been some troubling developments of late. You warned me once about the orb residing within my spellbook. Unbeknownst to me, it seems to have the capacity to commune with the stone of Saros' weapon. They magnetize together with a nearly unbreakable force, till Saros tore them apart with his own hands. But not without my work being eaten straight from my pages and inked onto Saros' arms somehow. Thus my troubles. Furious with this new development, I demanded answers from the orb myself. I was taken somewhere dark. When I returned, Maya had changed, adorned with this golden iris that matches the markings on the orb itself. Anyways, we moved off to find our horses. We discovered, of course, they'd been naturally eaten by wolves. Truthfully, I was pleased to be walking through the forests again. The others, of course, wanted to ascertain what had happened. To my dismay, Leaf tracked them down, which did lead to a curious crossing of paths. A woman led these wolves. Rylea, as we came to learn, is a healer, with the gift to bend aspects of space and time, similar to my own abilities, but derived from nature rather than the arcane. This spatial anomaly she devised managed to shrink our travel, which ordinarily would take entire days, to no more than a mile. We parted with this healer and arrived at the docks. I charitably bought Saros new clothes, more so to save us from his unsightly shriveled form. Meanwhile, Sloane spent her time with the blacksmith, where she purchased some amulets. Back here we gathered, as Leaf tended to the wounded Nia. Unfortunately, Saros demonstrated reckless abandon in using my magic to identify Sloane's amulets. This obviously backfired catastrophically, as his inept attempt to control my power was undoubtedly doomed to fail. Zealots like himself do not understand the intricacies of manipulating the arcane and controlling its wild reactions. But even more perplexing was his anger when it was he who so foolishly tried to utilize what amounts to stolen property. I do know this angered you greatly, but you can undeniably aim all the blame on Saros. Well, I believe this has brought you to our present troubles, and this is exactly why I must take Sloane from you for some testing. I must continue my efforts to broaden my dunamantic repertoire and recover from Saros' actions. Come along. We've wasted enough time.